Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. My name is Alyssa. If you want to see some more content from me, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me so much. So I have an update that I'm really excited to share with everybody. A few months ago, I made a video about post-graduation, post-grad anxiety, post-grad feelings, and now it's been probably 6 or 8 months since I posted that, and I have an exciting update that I wanted to share. If I can help one person feel inspired or not feel alone in this post-grad situation that we're all in, then making these videos is 100% worth it. It's something that I'm really passionate about talking about, and I'd love to continue to make this a series on my channel. So in my video that I posted months ago, I talked about this whole idea of post-graduation feelings and how it's not talked about enough, which I still think it's not talked about enough. Since then, a lot of stuff has happened. My dad got offered a job about 2 hours north of where I was living at the time, where I've lived my whole life. They moved out of my childhood home and into a new house. I got a job in Chicago and a new car and a new apartment, and now I'm living with my boyfriend in this beautiful apartment that we have decorated together and worked very hard for. A lot has changed. Just a few months ago, I was in such a dark place. I felt totally lousy. I felt like I'd failed because I didn't have this crazy, amazing salaried position outside of college. I didn't move to a new city. I was still living with my parents, and honestly, I was really comfortable. I was unhappy, but I was comfortable to the point where I didn't have any confidence to want to leave the situation that I was in. I was comfortable living with my parents. I was comfortable working the job that I had in college. I was scared to try to make change in my life because honestly, I was again in a really dark place, and when you're in a dark place like that, it's hard to move out of a situation that you just feel comfortable in because it's the only really comfortable thing that you know. So you're probably wondering, like, okay, good for you. How'd you do it? Especially with coronavirus happening right now. The most important thing is I let myself be sad. I let myself experience the emotions that I needed to feel, because I'm a huge advocate of, like, you should never suppress your emotions. You should never feel like you're not allowed to be sad or that you're wrong for being sad. You have to let yourself feel those emotions and work through the grief in the best way that you can. The key is to try to be realistic, which is really hard. And I just tried to think, like, okay, it's been a year since I graduated. I'm still moping around, and the biggest reason for my moping around is because I'm not happy with where I'm at, and I know that I need to do something to change that. So I was able to make that connection that, like, I needed to take the steps to make the changes that I wanted to do. Me sitting around and moping in my bedroom, like, yes, I needed that to heal, and my feelings are 100% valid. But if I continued to let myself do that, I would just be miserable and never be where I am right now. Now, I will say my parents moving is a huge factor of all of this. I honestly don't even know where I would be if my parents hadn't decided to move, because that's what got the seed planted in my head. Like, I need to make a decision, and I need to make a decision fast. I either need to move somewhere or I need to figure out how I'm gonna stay here and make it work. And I didn't want to stay in the area, and honestly, I couldn't afford it. So although I did kind of get a little kick in the ass from my parents deciding to move, I still think that I can offer some sort of valid advice and tips for anybody else watching who's experiencing maybe a similar situation with post-grad feelings. If you haven't already, I strongly suggest going to check out my first video on this topic. It really helps you feel, in my opinion, I feel like it helps you feel a little bit less alone, really validates people's feelings, which is my biggest goal. I've had a lot of great feedback from that, and that makes me really happy because I don't want anybody to feel as alone as I did, and like, we are truly in this together, and we're gonna work it out together, and everybody has a chance to succeed, and I wanna see everybody succeed and be happy. So I wanna start this by saying, 2020 grads, you are experiencing an insane form of trauma with coronavirus. Something that no other class can even begin to comprehend. This is literally your first time out of the gate, and we're in a global pandemic. I graduated in 2019, so I was about a year safe from what is currently going on. And I think you need to not be so hard on yourself, first of all, because again, we are in a pandemic. you're not failing, you're not doing anything wrong. You have every right to feel in this down space if that's what you're feeling. If you can't find a job right now, or if you're not even in the mental space to find a job right now, that is okay, and I need you to tell yourself that that's okay. I'm begging you to be patient with yourself and allow yourself the time to process everything that's going around you, because if there's anything you shouldn't do, it's suppress the emotions that you're feeling right now and be so hard on yourself and tell yourself that you need to be doing better, you need to be grinding harder. Like, it's okay. Like, nothing like this has ever happened in our lifetime. If you're in the position where you really do need to make money, you need to find a job, it is okay if you have to go to a retailer, if you have to go into the restaurant serving business. People in the future looking at your applications, at your resumes, are not going to give you a hard time because you had to get what you needed to get through a global pandemic. You need to do what you need to do to survive. And if any future employer can't understand that, I don't think you want to be working for them in the first place. The next thing I want to talk about is adjusting to leaving home or leaving your hometown. This is something that I'm still working out. I miss my house. I miss my hometown. I miss how comfortable it made me feel. And I think it's okay to miss those things. I think I'm an extremely nostalgic person, so I miss things all the time. But I mean, I think that just means that I had mostly happy experiences there, or maybe it's just that's where I was most comfortable. I don't think anybody prepares you for what it feels like to move out of your childhood home, especially in my situation. I can never go back there. It's gone. Another family lives there. Some people, they don't care, and that's totally fine, but when you do care, it really does hurt, and it's okay to hurt. If your parents do still live at home, I'm super jealous of you, but I think it's okay to take solace in knowing that you can go back whenever you want, and it's okay to miss your parents if you had a good relationship with your parents. That's totally normal. Like, I'm obsessed with my family. I love spending as much time with my family as I possibly can. During this pandemic, I really started looking into manifestation, and if you guys are interested, I would love to do a whole other video on manifestation, because that is something that guided me through this entire last few months. So the first thing I started doing when I realized that I was gonna have to move out and I decided to move in with my boyfriend in Chicago, I started manifesting a job. And given the situation right now, we're in a global pandemic. I'm an art major. Well, I'm a double major in art and communications. I love the arts. I really wanted to go into some type of media position. I'm a photographer and videographer on the side. However, I knew that I really couldn't be too picky right now, and I was so grateful for any opportunity that I could even have. So what I did was I just started manifesting a job that would pay me well and that would make me happy. I didn't want to be miserable doing what I was doing, because it's not worth my mental health to be a slave to capitalism, honestly. Once you're ready, and sometimes you might even have to force yourself to do it, start with just applying for one job. Just one job should make you feel so accomplished, and start manifesting something that makes you happy, something that you can be passionate about. Start looking for those opportunities and really pay attention to your intuition. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, Alyssa, shut up. Literally in the last video, you talked about how hard and scary it is, and it 100% is. But now being on the other side of having a job, I realize it's not as scary as I thought it was, and I was overthinking 95% of it, as per usual. Don't get me wrong, imposter syndrome is so real, and you're not wrong for feeling that way. Like, most people feel that way, and it's totally valid and real. But I will say, now being on the other side of a job, I see I'm in training and development. I'm doing something that I didn't even go to school for, and the person that hired me took a chance on me, and I honestly really enjoy my job. And I was terrified because I didn't have the qualifications that the application asked for. So if you just apply and read descriptions, and if you find them interesting, just apply. Literally, the worst they can do is say no. And I know it's easier said than done, but there were so many requirements on my job description that I don't have, but I have been trained, I've been learning, and my coworkers are so patient with me as I'm new to all of this. And most employers, at least employers that are worth your time, are going to treat you with the same respect. And if you're in the interview process and you feel uncomfortable, if you don't feel like a good fit, you do not have to take that job offer. You can say that you are looking at something else. You don't think it fits what you want to do as a person. That's totally okay. for me, I felt like even hitting the submit button for an application was a commitment to that company, and it's really not. It took me so long to understand that just because I'm applying for the job does not mean that I'm married to that job. You're not an imposter, you're intelligent, you're worthy, you are hardworking, you are a wonderful human being, and you're worthy of a job that you like. You're worthy of a good paying job. My biggest tip, honestly, is to use your resources, use your connections. If you have a Facebook account, if you have a lot of family or just adults on your Facebook account, adults, I'm literally an adult. If you have a lot of people on your Facebook account, I strongly recommend that you're looking, whether it's in the area that you live or an area where you want to move. And you never know who can provide you with a good opportunity. Someone whose mom used to babysit me when I was younger actually connected with me to the company that I'm with right now. No connection is a bad connection, and you have no idea where you could find someone that can help you move along in the job finding process. So when you're ready, put yourself out there, and just remember that you're worthy, you're smart, and you will be trained, and you will figure out what to do, and at some point you will be confident. And just don't be so hard on yourself. Something that's really hard is finding the courage to move. Some people are really lucky and they just have this crazy, like, I want to move. I'm moving the second I graduate high school, the second I graduate college. That wasn't the same for me. I knew I've always wanted to move, but again, I like being comfortable. I think we all enjoy being comfortable to some extent. So for me, I was stuck in this. I knew I wanted to live in Chicago, but it's easier to stay here. It's easier to be comfortable. It's so much harder. I have to put in so much effort to move, and this is true. But if you want it bad enough, you have to force yourself to do it. There was so many times in this moving process where I was just like, I just want to quit. I don't want to go. I just want to stay here with my parents. It's not worth it. I'll be more comfortable here. I'm scared. What if I don't like it? What if I'm really unhappy? It's all these what ifs and this overthinking, and again, it's totally valid. Change is really hard. And honestly, you could stay in your hometown forever. You might love it and you might regret it, but I think in your early 20s, if you can afford it, if you're able to, it is a really good time to live in different cities and experiment, because you can always go back home. For me personally, I couldn't afford to move right away. I have always paid all of my own bills. I wasn't making very good money, so I'm really not trying to sound elitist right now. If you can't afford it, that's okay. Start saving in the best way that you can. Do what you need to do, even if it's not the most glamorous job. Your happiness and your wants and your dreams and desires are so important. And I have literally worked insane amount of jobs, insane amount of hours, because I just finally decided that I have this opportunity. My parents are moving and I'm going to make my dreams happen. So you need to find your clue. What's going to be your final straw? You need to follow your dreams. We live, you know, a long life in the grand scheme of things, but it goes by so fast, and you could keep putting it off, like, oh, I'm going to move next year. I'm going to look for a new job next year. But you should never settle if you're unhappy. You have to chase your dreams, and sometimes that may take a little bit longer because not all of us are in the best financial situation, but as long as you're taking steps, even if they're extremely small steps, you're still taking steps. And if you're moving alone, I've been super lucky to go through this whole process with my boyfriend. There are so many different Facebook groups in different towns. I have a friend who just moved to Nashville, and she was looking at different listings in Nashville and ended up finding some awesome girls to live with, and I'm so happy for her. I also know there's Bumble, there's Tinder in the friend aspect, and my boyfriend is joining a tennis club because he really likes to play tennis. Start thinking about activities that you like to do. Join those clubs, surround yourself in that environment so you can attract the people that you want to be around and want to include in on your life. Again, I know just this last video I was kind of ranting and, you know, talking about how hard it is, and it is so hard. I don't want to go back on anything that I said. It is miserable, it's depressing, and nobody talks about it. It's so serious, but just know I'm here for you. I know what you're feeling is valid, even if you feel crazy for what you're feeling. I just want to hopefully inspire people who resonated with my last video to feel empowered and to feel inspired, because I was in such a dark place for such a long time, and I feel like if I can do it, hopefully I can inspire other people to do it and show that they don't have to live like that forever. All right, guys, I hoped that helped. I hoped you enjoyed my little update video. I love, love, love talking about this topic. I think it's so important to bring awareness to. If you'd like me to make a video on manifestation or continue to talk about this topic, please let me know. I would absolutely love to. In the meantime, I have a lot more content coming. I just moved into my apartment, so there's definitely an apartment tour coming. I'm so excited to continue to make videos for you guys. Oh, there's a rainbow. I don't know if you guys, oh, there's a rainbow. How beautiful. Well, guys, there is always a rainbow after rain. You like that one? Yeah? All right, guys, I'm done being cheesy. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. If you like what you saw, please leave me a comment, a like, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell if you want to get notified the next time I post, and I'll see you next time. Bye.